Hey guys, Jimmo here with Overspray, and today I'm going to show you what's involved in doing rust repair. For this episode, I've enlisted the help of a very talented body technician, Mike Volpe, aka the Volpster, and he'll be handling some of the dirty work on this job. Now, fair warning, rust repairs are a lot more challenging than anything I've shown up to this point, but heavily requested nonetheless. So here's a look at the job I'll be talking about, a GM pickup with holes rotting through both rocker panels. Now, for common rusting points such as this, you can usually find repair panels available from aftermarket suppliers. Now, this was kind of an odd job because we were sent two different panels for each side. They shipped us the left side first, which included some of the pillar. We were surprised at the cost because it was only $18, but then when we received the right side, we'd seen something completely different, and obviously something was off. But anyhow, either panel is going to work fine for this job. The first thing needed to do is remove all of the old rusting metal. You can do this with a cutoff wheel, and you want to take measurements and create markers based on your repair panel and where you're going to be making your cuts and welds. Now, since rust will continue to spread like a cancer, you need to remove it completely. If you have minor amounts of rust, you can grind it away and sandblast it, but if it looks like it's spread underneath the metal and you can't access it to clean it, you need to cut the metal away and weld in new metal, either a repair panel or sheet metal you've cut yourself. You'll want to pre-fit your panels a few times and make sure everything lines up. You can butt weld the metal in as we did on the right side. If you have part of the pillar, like on the left, you can create metal sleeves, which will give you a slightly better repair. Before you weld in your metal, you want to spray it down with a weld-through primer. Once you complete your weld, this will maintain some of the corrosion protection in the places you can't reach once your panel is welded in place. On the left side repair panel, we'll drill out the holes where it lines up with the factory seams. They will be plug welded in then, which is basically pulling your MIG wire into a ball to lock it securely in place. The seams can be butt welded or lap welded, and they all need to be grinded down to level out the metal. And before welding, you want to make sure everything is secured very well with either body clamps or vice grips. Now, I already know people will be asking if you can use panel bonding adhesive here. So yes, you can use panel bond here. However, on exposed seams, it expands and contracts a little bit differently with the heat. So what can happen is eventually you'll likely start to see where the metal was joined. It will hold the metal in place just fine though. Next, you'll need to apply some body fillers to create a smooth transition by block sanding. You can use fiberglass reinforced filler on your first coat, and you can end with an easier sanding finishing putty. Next, you'll need to apply a protective coating to the metal. You can use either etch primer or epoxy. After about 20 minutes, you will next need to apply a primer surfacer, which will fill in any remaining imperfections. You want to block sand that and then final sand it with some 500 to 600 grit sandpaper. I'll also scuff up the surrounding area with a gray Scotch-Brite pad and clean it thoroughly with a degreaser. From here, it's just like any other paint repair I've shown. You can do it a number of different ways. I'm using DuPont Waterborne Base Coat and Nason Clear Coat. On the inside, the clear coat is blended halfway up each pillar and backmasked on the outside. I'll have a link up at the end that'll show a bit more about the prep process and clear blending process if you'd like to learn more about that. Now, let me also mention that rust repair is not traditionally a part of our business here. This was done as a personal favor for a friend. The reasons many shops avoid rust repair is because the only real way to do a job like this and guarantee it is pretty much replacing the entire side, and you'd be getting into some pretty stupid money as it's very labor intensive. Usually when you have rust in one area of a panel, you also have it starting a few feet, maybe even a few inches on the underside of the panel, which you can't see and have no real way of knowing about. And it could start rusting in a month, and customers can get pretty upset and potentially damage your shop's reputation. So it's just something to keep in mind when taking on rust work. Well, that's going to be it for today. Leave me a comment below and let me know what you thought. I've got some really great videos I'm working really hard to get out, such as the spoiler installation, among many others currently in the editing room. Let me know you're enjoying these vids by liking, sharing, and of course subscribing. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.